Alright, so we've probably heard about this before. Real estate is one of the best ways to create wealth, and it's always been proven to last. Whether the market goes down, goes up, goes sideways, real estate has been one of the best wealth creating tools in all of humankind. In fact, Andrew Carnegie himself said that over 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate, and more money has been made in real estate than in all industrial investments combined. Now in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 15 best ways that I know how to make money in real estate, and I'm going to be sharing these ways based on strategies that I've done in the past personally, and that I know people that have done it before in the 10 years that I've been doing this industry. Actually, I've been doing this for 10 years. So since 2012, I've done quite a lot of things. You know, I've made a lot of money in some, and then I've failed in a few as well. But I want to share with you guys through this video some of the best ways that you can make money in real estate. And whether your goal is honestly just to make a few $1,000s a month and supplement some additional income, or maybe you are thinking about making hundreds of thousands or maybe even millions of dollars every single year, or maybe you're just trying to create a passive avenue for income, then these proven methods are really gonna work for you today. Now, a quick disclaimer, just like with anything that has to do with making money, you're gonna have to put in some work, all right? So whether it's the avenue where you actually have to do some active real estate something, or just sit back, relax, and get some passive income, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna have to put in a little bit of work, all right? But that's my only disclaimer. With that being said, if you haven't done so already, just go ahead and give this video a like. It doesn't really take much work. Just tap the button, turn it blue, or click it on the computer, whatever you are, and that's gonna help my video a lot just to distribute it to more people for this whole YouTube algorithm thing. You guys know how it works. So if you have done that already, let's go ahead and get started right now. Okay guys, so I'm gonna be breaking this video in a couple of parts. And by the way, I'm gonna be putting timestamps in the description box below so that you guys can just kind of like look at some of the better structure of the video, and you can just watch whatever it is that you're interested in if you don't want to watch the entire video. But anyways, the first part is going to be regarding how to make money in real estate actively, and the second part of the video, which I'm going to be leaving towards the end, is going to be about making money in real estate passively. And obviously passive income is kind of like the hot topic nowadays because nobody really wants to do anything. You just want to lay back, relax, and get money anyways in your mailbox. Sounds pretty cool. It's possible, definitely doable in real estate, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But anyways, right now, let's go ahead and get started with the active ways of making money in real estate. And the first way that I actually love is to become a real estate agent. Now, I'm gonna be giving you a few reasons why being a real estate agent is actually a really good thing, especially if you're young. Now, being a real estate agent could be great if real estate is your passion and you also like sales, because it's gonna take both of them. Now, real estate agents are the main source of my business for the line of work that I do, so I know a lot of them, and I know a lot of successful real estate agents. Now, you can be a part-time real estate agent, which is really cool because you don't necessarily have to quit your job and, you know, also do this and still make some money. But you can obviously be a full-time real estate agent, which is kind of what I encourage most people if you're gonna be getting into this industry, just to go all in, be full-time. Yes, it's gonna be a little bit scary because most real estate agents are gonna make money on commission only and not necessarily have a salary. But if you have a good paying job and you want to go ahead and dabble into real estate, you have a lot of connections, and you know a lot of people that may potentially sell or buy homes or have a real estate need, then honestly, being a real estate agent can be a great avenue to make money. And the reason for this is because real estate agent commission checks are pretty big, okay? Now, as the time that I'm actually recording this video, which is September 2021, the average price of a home in the United States is $375,000. And real estate agents can make up to 3% of the purchase price. That's the typical sort of commission check for real estate agents on one transaction. But some real estate agents can make more than just the 3%. So, but anyways, at $375,000, your commission check at 3% could be up, you know, somewhere around $11,000. Imagine making 11 grand on each commission check. I mean, and that's obviously on average. If you live in an area where the average price is a little bit lower than that, then, you know, well, so be it. But hell, you might live in LA, or you might live somewhere in California, Washington, DC, Seattle, and $375,000 doesn't even buy you a shoebox. Then you can make even a lot more money. And again, if you just do it part-time, this is something that honestly, you can just do 1 or 2 transactions a year, and just imagine putting in additional $20,000, $30,000 in your pocket. on a 1099, meaning that they're not going to be taking out any taxes, anything like that. You just basically are going to file your taxes as self-employed. Man, it's amazing, okay? Now, personally, I know real estate agents that make a lot of money. And if this is a career that you want to take to the next level, and again, you have that passion for sales, I mean, you can really kill it. So, that's the first one. I encourage everybody to do it. If you have sort of a passion for real estate, once again, I'm tired of repeating myself. But anyways, you get the point, especially if you're young, because the barriers of entry to become a real estate agent are actually very, very low. In fact, the only barrier of entry to real estate is to take a course, which I think is about 30 to 40 hours. You can even take it online. You don't have to go anywhere, and you take a test. Once you're done with that, then you basically pass the test and you get your salesperson license, and you just basically hang your license at any brokerage that you want. That's it. All right, second way to make money in real estate is going to be to become a property manager. Now, this sort of kind of piggybacks on number two, because a lot of property managers are actually realtors. So if you already have a real estate license, sometimes it makes sense to become a property manager as well. Now, it doesn't pay as much as obviously buying and selling homes, but it can be a pretty lucrative way of making money in real estate without having to show houses, go on listing appointments, or anything like that. But obviously, as a property manager, you are pretty much sort of like the middleman between the landlord and the tenant. So, you're gonna be collecting the rents, you're gonna be, paying off the property, the taxes, the insurance, all those things, and then you're obviously gonna be making a cut based on whatever gross rental is that the landlord typically gets. And usually property managers make anywhere between 10 to 15% of the gross rent, and it's a job that honestly, guys, can be done on the side, and to some scale you can definitely scale it up a lot. Number three, and I'm gonna be a little bit biased on this one, and it's because this is what I do for a living about 70% of the time, and it's to become a mortgage loan officer. Being a loan officer gives you exposure to real estate because you have to originate loans, and you will originate a purchase loan or a refinance transaction for somebody. Now, mortgage loan officers don't make as much money on a commission like, real estate agents do, but, we do have the ability to have a lot of clients, and this is a job that I do from this room that you see right here, or from my kitchen, or basically from anywhere. So obviously it does take time to build up a book of clients and all that good stuff. Just like anything in sales, it's a sales position. But if you don't want to be showing houses, or you don't want to go on appointments and stuff like that, and you literally want to have a job where you can just be on a phone and you are good at sales, then being a loan officer can be very lucrative. If you're a successful mortgage loan officer, that can mean that you will make well into the six figures every single year. And some of the best loan officers, at least I wouldn't say best, but the top producing loan officers, the 1% in the industry, make upwards of $1 million, $2 million every single year. So being a mortgage loan officer definitely has opened doors for a lot of the stuff that I've been able to enjoy in the industry, and has definitely helped me live a really comfortable and nice lifestyle as well. And it's a great career. Especially if you are coming out of college. This is exactly how I got into the industry. This is exactly how I got my taste of real estate. And it was, in the cool thing also is that you learn how to, do the financing. And you don't have to be a loan officer for a bank or for a mortgage lender. I'm a loan officer for a mortgage lender, but you could be a loan officer for like a brokerage. You can be a loan officer for, all right, I can't think of any other things that you can be a loan officer for, but you could do like, commercial loans as well. You can even get a little bit more of a commission and stuff like that. So it's also pretty great. I've seen all the stupid shows on HGTV and Bravo and whatever else. So this is gonna be house flipping. So obviously, house flipping is what it is, right? Your thing is to buy a home, undervalue, and fix it up, rehab it, and then put it back on the market really quickly so that you can make a big profit. Now, unlike the stupid shows, you're not gonna be making $100,000, $300,000 per flip. It's extremely unrealistic. On average, you're gonna be making anywhere between $10,000 to $50,000 per flip, depending on what kind of market you're in. But obviously, flipping houses can be very profitable, especially if you understand how to renovate houses, if you understand materials, you understand labor, and you do some of the renovations yourself, or you hire workers to do that for you as well, which most successful house flippers will do. They'll have a team of of rehabbers and obviously architects and stuff like that. But obviously, it's also a very risky it's a very risky way of making money in real estate, because if you hold the house for a lot longer than you anticipated, then you're gonna have to be paying a lot of money on loan interest, taxes, and then to dispose the property. So those things can eat up your profit very, very quickly. All right, number 5, you are going to be making money in real estate by buying real estate at government auctions. And this basically means that you're gonna be buying real estate through, just being at the courthouse, somebody went into foreclosure. So the whole idea of, buying government-owned homes or bank-owned homes, God, I can't speak right now, is that you're pretty much going to be getting a home that somebody went into foreclosure, and then you're buying it at a low market price, and then obviously you have instant equity built in. Now, right now in 2021, there's not many foreclosures because honestly, people have more equity than ever before. So it really doesn't make any sense for anybody to leave a house in foreclosure right now, this moment. But in times where, maybe the market goes the other way, the economy, tanks, then you're gonna be seeing a few more foreclosed properties, real estate owned, and things like that. You can also buy, tax liens as well. That's kind of how buying homes through foreclosures sort of tends to work out. The only downside to buying not the only downside, but one of the biggest downsides to buying foreclosed properties is that you're gonna need a lot of cash. Now, you can get a loan and get a foreclosed property, but if you are sort of like fighting against other buyers who understand that this house specifically has some value in it and they have cash, then listen, the bank is not going to give you a loan. The selling bank of the property is not going to wait for you to get a loan approved for the house. They're just going to go ahead and sell it to somebody that has the cash already and can close really quickly. All right, number 5, I think we're at number 5. But anyways, this strategy is wholesaling. And I'm pretty sure that you have seen, if you look up on the internet, how to buy houses, or how to buy real estate with no credit, no down payment, and get rich in a week kind of scheme, and everybody's trying to sell you a course on it. This is exactly what it is. It's wholesaling. And even though most people are just gonna try to sell you a course on how to buy a house with no money, no credit, no down payment, and you're extremely broke, but you can still buy a house or an apartment building, then yeah, they're trying to just sell you on some bullshit course. But it is a real strategy. It's a strategy that definitely can pay off a lot of money. It's a strategy that also takes a lot of time. It's not as easy, kind of how a lot of these gurus say that you can just make it on your part-time and you're going to be making $20,000, $30,000 a month. That's complete crap. It doesn't exist, because being a wholesaler is going to require a lot of time. And yes, you pretty much don't need any credit. You don't need any down payment or anything like that, but you do still have to put in a lot of effort, and you still have to shell out some money, because wholesalers, at least the ones that actually do this as a living, they have to pay for, things like dialer systems, or you have to mail mailers to properties, to property owners that may be in a distressed position. So it is still going to take some capital and a lot of work, but it is definitely a way. And basically, kind of the whole thing about wholesaling a property is that the seller, you find a seller that needs to do a quick sale. Maybe they have a house that needs a lot of repairs and they don't necessarily want to deal with the whole thing. So you're going to get this property under contract at a value that maybe just makes sense for you and it makes sense for the seller. And you are not going to close on your name, but what you do is that you're going to take that contract and you're going to shop it to another real estate investor who is willing to pay more for the house than what you are, and then you're basically gonna be making money based on that spread. So you can think about wholesaling sort of as like a finder's fee, so to speak. Now, some wholesalers can make a lot of money per transaction. I know some wholesalers that can make anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. One of my best friends is a very successful wholesaler, and he literally does make a lot of money. Sometimes it blows my mind, because he has come out with $30,000, $50,000 checks at closing, and it can happen like literally in about a couple of weeks. But obviously, this is something that he's been doing for 25 years plus, knows a lot of people, has a lot of people that are investors. So you have to get yourself into a good position of knowing other successful real estate investors and people with money, because ultimately your job is to find a house and then flip it right away, flip the contract to somebody else. All right, number 6 is gonna be buying a property, fixing it up, and living the property until you move out. Now, this is probably one of the easiest and actually one of the most underrated ways of making money in real estate as a beginner, because you can buy a home with good bones but needs a little bit of TLC. Now, you buy the home as a first-time home buyer, or maybe it's your home that you're gonna be living in, and there are gonna be some benefits on doing so. For instance, you buy this property in order to live in, which obviously is going to allow you to take out a government loan, which is going to help you with a couple of main things, like, just putting down a very small down payment, or in some cases even no down payment whatsoever. And also you're gonna have a very low interest rate. Now, as you live through the property, live in the property, then you're going to be fixing it up over time. And at the end of the day, what you're doing is that you are increasing your equity position by doing the renovations, by making it really pretty and really nice. And at the same time, you are paying down the loan. And at the same time, your home's value is going up because maybe your neighborhood is going up in value. If you are having a house right now in 2021, then you already know that just pretty much every home in America just goes up in value, and it seems to be going up forever. But anyways, that is really kind of one of the easiest way of making money. This is kind of one of the ways of just taking one property, jumping into the next one, and gives you a really good idea on kind of how this whole thing works. Now, you can take this a little further, and you can take advantage of renovation loans such as the FHA 203K mortgage or the Fannie Mae homestyle loan, which allows you to do extensive renovations to your property. So literally, you can take a $200,000 home, throw $100,000 worth of work, finance it all through the bank, and maybe now your home is worth $500,000, and then you can just sell it a year from then. So yeah, great way to make money in real estate, especially if you're a beginner. Check this one out, definitely, for sure. All right, now that we talked about all the active ways where you actually have to do something to make money in real estate, now we're gonna be talking about how to make money in real estate passively. So yes, this basically means that you're gonna be chilling at the beach and you're still gonna be collecting some checks. That's kind of what life is about, isn't it? Anyways, number 7 is gonna be buy and hold single family homes. And this is probably gonna be the most introductory level of making money in real estate passive, because it is basically the easiest way, and it's the way where you don't necessarily need a ton of money. Well, kind of depending what a ton of money means to you and what kind of market you're in. Basically with this is that you can either buy your first home or your second home, whatever the case might be, put a low down payment, live in the property for a year, don't sell the property, but what you're gonna be doing is that you're gonna be renting it out, and then obviously you're gonna be getting those rent checks in the mail, and you can just get a property manager to take care of the property. You don't have to deal with your tenant calling you at 2 a.m. to fix the toilet or anything like that. Likewise, you can go ahead and buy a single family home with as low as a 15% down payment if it's an investment property, and you can just have your rental property right away. If you live in a state or a city that has a lot of multifamily homes, you can actually buy a 2 to 4 unit multifamily and still be considered a residential loan. Okay, so you can get a residential loan for something like that, and good thing is you can throw 2 tenants, because you basically have 2 units or 4 units or 3 units, whatever the case might be. And obviously you're gonna have your tenant paying down your mortgage. At the same time, your property is going to appreciate. And at the same time, if you put some work in and then you sell the property in the future, then you're gonna be making a lot of money. And while all this stuff is happening, you're gonna be writing off depreciation for your tax benefits. Amazing. Following up on this, number 8 is gonna be buying and holding multifamily homes. And now we're gonna be talking about pretty much anything that has to do with commercial multifamily, which is 5 units or more. I guess, 5 units, because 2 to 4 is residential, then 5 plus is gonna be commercial. Now, obviously, commercial buildings or apartment buildings is going to take a little bit more capital, or in fact, a lot more capital, because you're gonna need about 25% down payment for some of those things. If you do have some money, that's something that I would look into very, very, very further in, because what happens is that you can look at something like 5 to 10 or 20 units, where it's gonna be a little bit too much for your regular kind of investor that's only looking for a quad or a triplex or something like that. But it's also too small for like a hedge fund or an investment fund that buys residential properties. So if you do have a pretty good amount of money saved up and you want to get some just really passive income and a lot of it, then getting a commercial building, a commercial apartment building, somewhere between 5 units and 15 to 20 units, definitely can be a great idea to look into. All right, number 8 is gonna be renting out your home on Airbnb or VRBO. So obviously, long-term travel is expensive and time-consuming, and making money on your spare rooms or houses while you're away can offset some of these costs. Now, if you live near a tourist destination, or at least a destination where a lot of people go into, you can definitely do some Airbnb. You can do an Airbnb out of your home. You can rent out on a part of your house, basement, another room, whatever the case might be if you're just getting started. Now, obviously, you can kind of call this as being a little bit active, which obviously, yes, it can be active. But hell, if you're already just renting out one of your rooms and you gotta clean, then you might as well just clean your whole house, right? Now, obviously, you can buy a vacation home and you can put it on Airbnb or VRBO. So if you want to buy a house in the mountains or a house at the beach, then you can actually purchase those things with a 10% down if you're getting a residential mortgage, and you can literally put that, as a short-term rental in the future. So really good way. A lot of people make really good money with Airbnb. I know if you have a house at the beach or in or a cabin in the mountains right now, especially after, COVID and everything, you can make bank, because I do have a lot of friends that that own cabins at this moment, and have one particular friend that makes over $100,000 a year just on one cabin alone. So yeah, extremely great way of making money, and she doesn't deal with it. She has a property manager that is for Airbnb only, and they pretty much take care of everything. So yeah, passive income. All right, number 9, raw land income. And now you can make money from raw land. A lot of people don't understand raw land because it is a little bit complicated, but it doesn't have to be. It's literally just land. There are different ways that you can make money just with raw land. Obviously, you can get paid royalties by companies for any discoveries, like maybe somebody wants to put in a structure, put in a pipeline, a cell tower, or maybe somebody just wants to put a billboard along the side of the road if you have a piece of raw land next to, say, a highway. Some people convert raw land, if it's allowed in your area, into parking lots. And parking lots is probably the most misunderstood and probably the easiest way of making money in real estate, honestly, because a parking lot, nobody has to take care of it for the most part. Just really literally cars parking. So underrated way of making money in real estate, man. But anyways, that's it. Now, number 10 is one of the most underrated ways of making passive income, and is to become a hard money lender. This is going to be really cool if you do have some money and you have the ability to lend that money to other real estate investors. So instead of you flipping houses, what you do is you're gonna be flipping money. And basically what you do is that you provide financing to other real estate investors, because they typically don't have any other avenues to get financing. So they typically have to go through a hard money lender if they wanna complete a project. Now, as a hard money lender, well, what just happened? As a hard money lender, you're gonna be making money 2 different ways. The first one is gonna be by charging an origination fee, which can be anywhere between 2 to 5% of the loan amount. It's what they call points. And the investor is going to pay those points to you up front at closing. So imagine if you lend somebody $100,000, and right at closing you charge them 5% for you to give them that loan. That's $5,000 in your pocket right away, without you doing absolutely anything else but lending the money. The second way is going to be by obviously, making money on interest. And hard money loans carry high interest rates because they're going to be, you are taking on some risk to actually lend this money to somebody that's going to be flipping a property. And hard money lender loans are typically anywhere between 7 to 12% right now. Now, obviously, you're not going to expect that a investor is going to take a year or 2 years to repay you that loan. Normally, they're going to be doing their work as quickly as possible as a home flipper so that they can pay that loan really, really quickly. So obviously, if you get yourself a nice network of other real estate investors, then you can literally have a nice little network of people that you're going to be lending your money all the time. And that's just honestly how it works. Number 12, getting into the markets. Invest in real estate investment trusts, otherwise known as REITs. And REITs basically allow you to invest in real estate without having to acquire or manage any properties. Now, if you don't really know what a REIT is, it basically, think of it like a security pretty much, or a mutual fund that basically manages a type of real estate. And REITs can be held in mortgages, it can be held in properties, different real estate properties, or a combination of both. There are like hundreds of REITs out there, anywhere from apartment building REITs to malls to data centers to super centers to strip malls to hospitals. So there are a lot, literally it's just a lot of REITs out there, and they are sort of like mutual funds pretty much, because they are going to be managed by a professional who invest the money of outside investors into these real estate properties, into these mortgages or other investments. Now, one of the biggest benefits of buying a REIT is that they are obligated to pay out a dividend every year, and this is a great way of making passive income. Obviously now REITs dividends are going to be higher than dividends on other equities. So for instance, take the Ellington Residential REIT, ticker symbol EARN, which pays out a 9.4% yearly dividend. Now, obviously there are going to be some risk with REITs because, you know, they are like securities. They're just like stocks. So they can go down in value, they can go up in value. Obviously, last year in 2020 with COVID, you know, a lot of REITs took a beating because, well, everybody sort of expected the real estate market to pretty much tank, which, you know, thankfully it did on the short term, and then it just exploded. Now you can buy REITs with pretty much any brokers such as Robinhood, which allows you to buy, you know, REITs since they're basically publicly traded companies. If you don't have a Robinhood account, just link in the description below. You guys get a free stock and I get a free stock. You know how the whole deal works. All right, number 13 is going to be crowdsource investing. And crowdsourcing used to be a little bit more difficult in the past because you had to like literally know people, know other investors. But basically what crowdsourcing is basically you just like putting money together. So think of it as a GoFundMe, but it's a GoFundMe for you and other people so that you guys can buy into large scale projects where you necessarily wouldn't have enough money to invest yourself, or just one specific person would have the ability to, you know, put down a huge amount of money. So say for instance that you want to buy an apartment building or you want to rehab it, and you don't have the funds, well, you can just go ahead and partner up with a bunch of other people, and you know, you crowdsource a bunch of money, and then now you're buying this property. And obviously, you know, all the profits of maybe if you guys are, you know, rehabbing the property and reselling it really quickly, or you're going to be holding it as a long-term investment, then everybody wins by, you know, through the rents and all of that stuff. Now, nowadays, it's even easier to invest in crowdfunding. There's a website nowadays, or an app rather, called Fundrise, which allows you to invest in large-scale residential or even commercial real estate projects, and you can become an investor with as little as $1,000 in some cases. The payout tends to be a little bit similar to kind of a REIT because you're going to be getting dividends based on the rents collected on these real estate projects, and at the same time, well, some of these projects go up in value, so you're going to be winning on that. Fundrise link is going to be in the description below. All right, almost done here, guys. Number 14 is going to be a little bit like hard money lending, but not as hardcore. I think it's going to be like even a little bit, you know, safer. But it's going to be investing in real estate notes, which basically is you're just lending people money. So buying a home or refinancing a property for most people means that they have to go through a bank or a mortgage lender. And a lot of times, you know, somebody may not be in a position to be able to qualify for a regular mortgage, but they are in the need of some cash. So you as a, you know, investor in real estate notes, you pretty much become the bank. And what you do is that you're going to be executing a promissory note, which basically you're just giving this person money and they're going to promising that you're going to be paying you back at some point. Now, obviously you're providing somebody with a loan. There are going to be risks that come along with it, but you can mitigate a lot of that risk because you can get yourself added to the title, and obviously you're going to be leaning the property, meaning that if this person defaults on your promissory note, then you take over the property. So expect that obviously you have a nice performing note, then you just expect those payments on time, which obviously you're going to be charging interest, and the interest is going to be higher than the interest that a bank will charge, of course. But at the same time, you know, well, if that person defaults on the loan, then you take over the property. And yeah, maybe at that point, you sort of just don't have it as a passive, you know, way of making money, because you do ultimately have to sell the property. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, this is basically passive income because, well, you're just collecting money from whoever you lend the money to. All right, last, we have come to the end of this video, and it's going to be number 15, real estate mutual funds or ETFs. And this basically is going to be just like almost investing in REITs. As a matter of fact, you can buy ETF REITs, which basically has a bunch of REITs inside of one ETF. So an ETF is an exchange traded fund, and basically just think of it as a basket of securities just in one security, one large security. And the benefits of it is that you're gonna be collecting passive income through the dividends that are gonna be paying out to to the ETF. Now, in addition to it, obviously you're gonna have a lot of liquidity. You're gonna be able to trade these ETFs or these mutual funds on the open market. So it just basically almost moves as an ETF, as a REIT. And it might actually be even a little bit more liquid than a REIT a lot of times. But either way, it's out there. You guys can do it. You can buy one of these real estate ETFs or mutual funds through any brokerage accounts that you have. So do your research. I'm actually just put out a video of some of the best REITs and some of the best real estate residential ETFs and commercial ETFs that I've invested in the past and that I'm actually invested in right now at this moment. But yeah, great way to make some passive income, 100%. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I know it's a little bit long, but hopefully this gives you a lot of great ideas on how to make money in real estate. There are not gonna be one. There's not one that's perfect. There's not one that's better. Okay, well, there might be one that might be a little bit better than another one, but that all obviously becomes as part of what you are trying to do. But whatever it is that you do, just know that it's never too late to get started, and the best time to get started is right now. So thanks so much again, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I appreciate all your support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.